Well, hello and welcome to this bonus episode of the Straight A Nursing Podcast. I have a special treat for you today. It's not the sort of thing we usually do, so I hope you guys find as much value out of it as I did. So today I am doing an interview with Savannah Arroyo, and Savannah is the CEO and founder of Net Worth Nurse. And she has a vision to empower all nurses to take control of their net worth. Through Net Worth Nurse, Savannah has created a community of like-minded individuals empowering each other to achieve financial literacy and financial freedom. Net Worth Nurse is the premier investment site where nurses come to educate themselves on wealth building strategies. And yes, it can start when you are a student or new nurse. It really is never too early to start thinking about your financial future. So I hope you enjoy this episode with Savannah as much as I enjoyed creating it. Let's dive into the interview. Okay, Savannah, thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm super excited. I've been watching your Instagram reels, and I absolutely love the message that you share about investing and prudent financial knowledge for nurses and nursing students. So can you tell me a little bit about your background and how all of this started?
Yeah, I know it's funny to see nurses in finance, right? There's not many of us out there, although it's growing. So I love to see it. But I really started, even going back to nursing school, I knew kind of at a young age, I wanted to go into nursing and was always really kind of passionate about it. So I went right out of high school and college to get my bachelor's in nursing, and then graduated from Sacramento State 2013, worked in a couple different specialties in a couple different hospitals, and just naturally took on different leadership roles, process improvement initiative type stuff. I loved it. So went back to school and I got my master's degree in nursing leadership and administration. And so since then had kind of worked in different leadership administrative roles throughout different organizations, transferred down to Los Angeles, California, where I've been living the last 6 years, and started investing the beginning of 2020. I had just had my second daughter, was getting towards the end of my maternity leave and looking for ways to grow wealth, knowing that I had to go hand over my 3-month-old baby to daycare because I had to go back to work to get that paycheck. And that was a huge point with my husband and I were sitting down and trying to get very specific on our financial goals and where we want to be and how much freedom we want to have in our daughters' lives. And for us, it's to be very involved, taking them to swim lessons and soccer practice and be able to take them and travel with them freely, not having to worry too much about relying on a steady income stream from our W-2 job. So we were looking for ways to create multiple income streams and stumbled upon real estate investing for obvious reasons. It's one of the best ways out there to grow wealth. And we didn't come from anyone who had known real estate, had done real estate. And for us, it was just self-learning and learning ourselves. And we got into the real estate space. And I quickly drew a lot of attention from nurses and other healthcare professionals who are wanting to invest in real estate too. And on my social media accounts, I'm super transparent with my journey and everything I'm doing. And so we started doing real estate syndications, which is people pooling together their resources, and nurses and doctors and healthcare professionals partnering with us on these deals, putting up capital and taking a very passive approach to these investments and still getting amazing returns. On average, we're earning our investors about 20% average annualized return. This is comparable to the stock market, which historically has earned about 6%. So for me, it's my big passion is now going out to educate nurses on these different ways to diversify your finances, different ways that you can grow wealth while you're still going to work and doing something that you love. And so that's really been the biggest mission and passion behind Net Worth Nurse.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And that your daughter was such an inspiration is just so touching. That is just so sweet. And I think that is a position that a lot of parents face, especially when they have to go back to work and you really start thinking about, the time you're spending away and what you want for this little person. So I love that. And I know that that's what a lot of people listening are thinking about, even nursing students who, you remember what it was like being a nursing student, you don't have any money, but you're still thinking about those goals and maybe your long-term plans. So what would you say to a nursing student who maybe is thinking this is so far outside their realm of comprehension because they're honestly, they're just trying to come up with enough money to pay for their ATI testing and their Hoka tennis shoes or whatever. What would you say to that person to get them in the right mindset for something like this?
Yeah, I mean, really the goal is to, and one of our biggest missions is to get to nursing students and teach them before they even start working a nursing job, where they get out of the hospital. And I guess depending where you work, I mean, I graduated here in California where I was 22 making 80K a year as a nurse, not, my first job, not knowing you have one meeting where they throw you a Fidelity handbook and they're like, okay, set up your retirement account. And it's like, what is this? What does this mean? What are the percentages? What's a good percentage? What's a bad percentage? What's a Roth IRA? What's an IRA? What's a 401k? What's a 403b? So for us, we're filling that gap. We're providing courses, workshop tools, blogs, everything on Net Worth Nurse is catered to educating nurses around this stuff, so that by the time you do graduate nursing school, because it will happen, I promise, although it feels like forever, ever away, you'll get to a point where you graduate and you start working and you're making money and knowing from the start what to do with it, how to allocate it, how to put it in position so that it's growing money for you while you're sleeping. I mean, that's really when the earlier you start doing that, it puts you in a completely different zone down the road in terms of building wealth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was in the same boat as you with every job I had, especially those first ones, first out of college, where you really know nothing and somebody hands you a thing and you're in the HR person's office and you're supposed to make a decision that's going to affect the rest of your life. And a lot of times you just don't have that background knowledge. So I think it's great that you provide that. When I talk to nursing students, one of their big obstacles, one of the things they're super concerned about is their student loans.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to kind of break this up into two sections because it obviously has a lot to do with where you go to school, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of students have to weigh the option of going to an expensive private school where they can get in now and get out sooner versus that more drawn out process, but with possibly less debt. So I know there's kind of pros and cons to each. Do you have a way that you lean on that?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So, I mean, my experience going through nursing school, I had to take out probably 25,000 for my undergrad to graduate from Sac State. And then I took out another 20,000 to get my master's degree. And that was through Walden University and online. So I had student loans that I had to pay back. So I know what that is like. It's hard to try and save money when you have the lingering cloud of these student loans above you. And so for me, my comfort zone was paying off all that debt before I started getting heavy into investing. And so for me, that was allocating a huge portion of my paychecks towards the student loans. I wasn't paying minimum payments. I was paying way above that so I could be done with that part of my life and then start investing my money. And so that's been really my experience with it. There's a lot of financial gurus that will say different things about it. Dave Ramsey is a very big proponent of paying off absolutely all debt before you start doing any wealth building. There in real estate, especially, we leverage a lot of debt to scale a portfolio. And so for me, I have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt in my name in real estate, but it's earning me enough to pay off all that debt and still put cash flow into my pocket every month. So there's different ways that you can leverage debt in the real estate world. So I hate saying that all debt is bad because it is not. But the student loan debt, with that, you're really taking into consideration the interest rate on that. That's going to be your big focus of looking at that interest rate, looking at where your income's coming in. And we developed a personal finance course, really taking into consideration that nurses and healthcare professionals have debt when they start getting into the space of wanting to invest and how to overcome that. And so we have a debt snowball calculator that you input all your stuff and it's working and living and breathing. And you can use that to help pay off different debt because we found that to be super beneficial. And then just different resources and education. I mean, we have blogs on our website that talk about paying off student loan debt. We also have an extensive course that does this as well. So it is different for everyone though.
Mm-hmm. Right. As you were saying that, I was thinking, I wonder if Savannah has like a basic personal finance course for nurses. Can you talk a little bit more about what's in that? Because I think that's something that students would really benefit from and new grads would really benefit from.
Yeah. And that's really kind of what we geared that course towards. So we have our kind of our pillar real estate course and our pillar personal finance course. And they really do work kind of hand in hand. The personal finance course is a good first step of talking about how to pay off debt, how to match an employer match. What does that look like and why you should do that? And then difference between 401k, IRAs, different things like that, how to calculate a FIRE number. So FIRE is big in the personal finance community, financial independence retirement number. I'm blanking on what it's standing for right now, but it's an acronym that determines your financial freedom number of what number you would have to be good at of earning on a regular basis to be good to be financially free. And so we have a calculator there, and it kind of changes nurses' perspective or people's perspective on what it kind of looks like to create that freedom in your life. So yes, we got courses extensively built out. There's videos, modules, spreadsheets. The personal finance one is, if you love Excel, this course is made for you.
I love a spreadsheet.
Man, yes. My business partner, Kai, just did work on these. They're amazing. But there's a lot of different spreadsheets on there because it's a really working number. And the more active you are with your finances and budgeting and learning where money is going and how it calculates and how returns generate down the road, these calculators do a really good job of putting that into perspective. So you have kind of a better idea of how money works in your life and in your future.
I think that's fantastic. I wish I had had something like that when I was just starting out. Like I had no clue.
Yeah.
I mean, can a person have negative clue? I had negative clue. Okay. So that is just absolutely fantastic. And I think I'm going to sign up for that because I want to know my FIRE number, you guys.
Yes.
I need to know what that is because maybe I'm already at it. Who even knows? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is really, really helpful. And then I want to talk just a little bit about if someone, like, let's say you're talking to a new nurse who's just started out in the career and they might not have a lot of money saved up yet, and they do want to get started with investing. Is it possible to say like a dollar amount? Like you could get started with as little as whatever, just so to make people feel like maybe this is a little more accessible than they think it is?
Oh yeah. I mean, a couple $100, you can start investing and take control over that. Yes, it is. It's good. It's good to get your feet wet with a lower dollar amount as you kind of start learning how different systems work or different financial institutions that you're wanting to invest with, whatever that investment looks like for you. A couple $100 will get you there.
Wow. That's really inspiring. I think most people could probably, once they start working, can find a couple $100 somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a question that I get asked all the time. I thought you might have a little bit of insight into this. Can a new grad nurse negotiate salary? Sometimes people say that they're just told a salary, and then other times people say that they're given a range, but they feel uncomfortable negotiating. So where are we at with that right now? What have you been hearing?
So in California, I've worked at a lot of union hospitals, so it's really non-negotiable. You're coming in at a union rate. So your unions determine your rate as a nurse, and every nurse in every position, if you're in the union, will know how much nurses are making based on seniority. So the majority of the financial institutions or healthcare organizations that I've worked at have been that way. When I started negotiating for my salary was when I started moving into management. And then I am a very much advocate for negotiating for salary. It has done wonders for me and negotiating tens of thousands of dollars on that. So new grads, at least in California, if you're a new grad and that's really the only state I can speak on.
Right.
Almost every hospital has a new grad program that they're going through. Union. I feel like it's pretty set in stone. I'm kind of curious now what other people say in different states.
But it would be okay to ask, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
not just wait till you get hired and
yes,
they tell you what it is. Because you do want to be able to, like right now, students or new grads are getting multiple offers. So it's nice to be able to realize you could maybe have a little bit of, something to weigh one against the other with.
Yes, nurses have a lot of negotiation rights right now.
Yeah.
I'm seeing huge referral bonuses. A lot of stuff.
It was not like that when I started.
No.
It was a lot of people I went to school with just never got bedside jobs because there weren't any. So different environment now.
Yeah, it took me 10 months when I first graduated trying to find a new grad job, and it hurt.
Oh, man, that's stressful. That is so stressful.
Yes.
Okay, so, all right. I'm just looking through my list of questions. I had so many great questions for you. I do want to talk a little bit about your investment course. Can you tell us what that looks like? Because there's probably some students who'd be interested in that. There's definitely some working nurses, some new grad nurses that I think this might be really great for.
Yeah, definitely. So I gave you guys a little bit more detail about that personal finance one. So it does encompass a lot of things. It does encompass a little bit of crypto too, for people wanting to kind of learn of that, a very surface level of what that kind of looks like. Obviously, no recommendations because we're not financial advisors, but just kind of an overview so you could kind of learn a lot more about different investment strategies with that piece. My real estate specific course. So real estate has been super powerful for me. My biggest specialty is kind of educating nurses really on that real estate piece. So I've owned different real estate, long-term rentals. I do multifamily syndications. I'm actually in the process of buying a short-term rental. So I have been in the real estate space, I think almost 2 years. Yes. So, I'm still learning too, but I have been able to leave my full-time bedside job with my real estate investments. And now I get to work per diem because I still love nursing so much. But hard to imagine walking away ever. But now I've seen with Net Worth Nurse the potential to really build this business to serve as many nurses as possible. And so this is taking the majority of my time these days. But the real estate investing course, for anyone interested in that, I dive into a bunch of different topics. They're in different modules. Like the first module, I'm diving into real estate strategies. So all different kinds, flipping land, short-term rentals, the BRRRR method, REITs, what that looks like, kind of an overview, what it takes to kind of get into those investments. Then I talk about how to find money to start investing. Because when I started investing in real estate, when my husband and I started educating ourselves on it, we were like sold. We're like, yes, real estate is our ticket to this freedom with our daughters that we want. But we didn't have any money to start. And so we tapped into our home equity. We pulled $100,000 out of our house to get started investing. My husband pulled from his retirement account. I took out a loan from my retirement account to start doing this. And we didn't really tell a lot of people when we first started doing it because we didn't know anyone else personally that was doing this. We were listening to podcasts and reading books and educating ourselves on how these numbers worked, and started talking to experts in the field and learned that this is how you do it. This is how you grow wealth. It's one way that you can kind of scale. And so I have a whole module dedicated to finding money for real estate deals and what that looks like, retirement accounts, life insurance policies. There's tons of different ways that you can tap into equity that you already have in your life. So that's another module. I do a third module about building a real estate team. So who the people are, brokers, lenders, property managers, what those relationships look like, how to meet these people. And then I move into how to analyze markets, how to look at deals, how to underwrite, how to look at cash flow. I have calculated a couple of Excel spreadsheets in there as well to kind of learn how to calculate that stuff. If you're wanting to be more hands-on, I have investment stuff for real estate. If you're wanting to be more passive, different avenues for that. And then closing on a deal for those that want to go out and buy their own real estate deals, what it sit at a closing table. Because I know when I sat down to buy my first home, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what people were saying. I were using terms and doing all this stuff. What do these numbers mean? And so we kind of try and dive through what that looks like when you sit down at the closing table. What are these documents and stuff? So it's a really extensive course. Again, videos, PowerPoints, transcripts that kind of walk through it. We're really, really proud of these. It's really a good starting point for newbies, but also if you're just wanting to kind of learn more.
Right. I love it. It sounds absolutely fantastic. I am definitely going to check it out myself. So anything else that you would tell a student or a new grad about their financial future? Anything that we didn't cover?
Yeah. Nursing is such an amazing profession. I love it so much. And even being in a position now where I don't necessarily have to work at bedside, being able to still work at bedside and transitioning out of management has been so fulfilling to me. Honestly, it's a career that even going in once a week in the pre-op department, I swear my patients make me cry all the time. They're in there having surgery for cancer, most of them, or, hip replacements and stuff. And it's just the stories that you listen to as a nurse is just amazing. And I've been a nurse like 8-9 years now. But in terms of finances, nurses are in an incredible place career wise. I mean, there's so much flexibility and specialties. I myself have worked in probably like 6-7 different specialties.
Wow.
There's a lot of flexibility with that. You could work in a hospital. I worked in ambulatory care for 3 years, overseeing an orthopedic practice. There's a lot of flexibility in what you bring to the table as a nurse. And like we were talking about a little bit earlier, just nurses are in a position now more than ever to really negotiate for themselves and get what you work in a position you want, work where you want to work in the department you want to work. Like, yes, you're new and you're just like, I want to get out and I just want to get a job. And I get it. I was there, but ultimately the happiness lies in doing what you want. But with nursing, I have found that there is a lot more flexibility than other career paths.
Yeah, I think you just have to be open to change.
Yeah,
for sure. That was where I got stuck because I worked in the ICU and I've learned I don't like change. And I was so scared to leave, even though I was so burned out completely and emotionally, mentally, physically broken. I still stayed years longer than I should have because I didn't really, I don't know, just like the thought of leaving the environment I knew so well and the skill set I had mastered was really scary, but best decision that I ever made. So there you go.
It is super scary moving into different departments and different specialties. I mean, even when I moved into a position where I was managing the cath lab with zero cath lab experience, I was terrified to do that, and it was just like, I want to learn everything I can. I was sitting in the control room, talking to the nurses and the techs and the doctors and learning how it was ran and what they do. And so but that's the cool part about it. Now after working in so many different specialties in the hospital, it's like you get a good perspective of how it's ran. It's really fun.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Well, Savannah, I want to thank you so much. Can you tell people where to find your programs so that they can go check them out if they're as excited about them as I am?
Yes, definitely. Please reach out. We're super stoked on this kind of stuff. It's a huge passion of ours. And so we're just really building it into all-encompassing for healthcare professionals and nurses especially. But networthnurse.co is where you can go to find out all of our stuff, courses, coaching community. We got blogs, downloads, free resources, everything you could imagine over there. Podcast episodes as well. And so that's networthnurse.co is the website. I'm on all social media channels. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Instagram's my fave. So that's where I'm really probably the most engaged. So on Instagram, thenetworthnurse.com.
Yeah.
Or not even .com.
Not even .com. I knew what you meant. Okay. Well, Savannah, thank you so much. I hope that everyone listening got some inspiration out of this and an idea of where to go when you're looking for information about financial literacy and investing for your future. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
So there you have it. I just think that was so amazing. That was really good stuff, right? One of the things I love about Savannah, aside from her message about financial empowerment, is her message about all the things that you can do as a nurse. She's been in a lot of different nursing positions, a lot of different leadership positions, and now she's taken all that knowledge, built it up together with her passion, and has her own business. So I'm just really inspired by that. So again, you can find Savannah at networthnurse.co. And even above the programs that she offers, the courses that we talked about, she's got a podcast and a blog with some great information. So I want you to go check that out at networthnurse.co. So thanks for joining me on this special bonus episode, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now. This podcast is brought to you by Straight A Nursing.